Welcome to Lineups and Lures, where the talk runs from the dugouts to drift boats. We're all about the games we play and the waters we fish, the stories, the rivalries, the moments that keep us coming back. If it happens under the lights or out on the water, we're in. This is Lineups and Lures. It's Super Bowl weekend. The game is here. Seahawks, Patriots. It's going to be a big one. Before we talk about the Super Bowl, which of course we're going to talk about, there's a lot of other stuff going on in the sports world. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes, and we're just going to go real quick hits and talk about some of these things that are going on. You ready?
Go.
All right. Valdez, finally off the market, signs a $38 million a year contract with the Detroit Tigers. The same day that they have their arbitration mediation with Skubal.
Right.
And so then it comes out today, Thursday, that Skubal won his arbitration, which I think this is probably the first time ever where everybody thought he was going to win and should win.
Well, didn't Soto get the same deal last year? Or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When he got his $30 million?
Pretty close, yeah. But
Okay.
Skubal is arguably the best pitcher in baseball. So Valdez signs.
Definitely in the conversation.
Skubal gets his $38 million. Do you realize the
32
Tigers...
million.
$32 million. Do you realize the Tigers just spent $70 million in the last 24 hours on left-handed starting pitching for this year?
Yeah, I mean, all they got to do is add another decimal point to that, and they can get in Dodgers territory.
Exactly. Isn't that wild, though? Like, you go from, all right, we only want to pay Skubal 19. All right, well, he's going to win arbitration at 32. If we just would have offered him 25, maybe we could have got there. And then we're going to go...
Man, he was getting paid regardless.
I know, but then we double down and we give Valdez $38 million a year. I mean, if I'm Skubal, that's a little bit of a slap in the face to me.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, you and I talked a little bit about this off air. And I'm going to give the condensed version right now. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's any bad blood between the Tigers and Skubal. At the end of the day, the GM goes, hey, I'd like to pay you $13 million less. And Skubal's like, I'd like you to pay $13 million more. So they go to arbitration, shake hands, and go make the best man win. That's all it is, I think. I mean, I know you can turn around and go, oh, you're hurting the players' feelings, blah, blah, blah. How about you hurting the owner's feelings? I'd like $13 million extra dollars.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't care how rich you are.
Yeah, no, you can argue both sides for sure. All right, hey, we got to move on. We got to stay on this 5 minutes.
All right, good.
NBA trade.
Not going to happen, but okay.
We're going to try. NBA trade deadline was today. Blazers didn't make any moves. Well, they made one trade the other day for a three-point shooter, but today no big moves. Giannis didn't move.
Right.
I guess you could say the biggest move of the trade deadline the last 48 hours was probably James Harden.
Yep.
Kind of a dull trade deadline
really,
in my eyes.
You and I have spoken about this multiple times. I mean, my interest in the NBA these days is next to zero. I'm not going to bore our listeners with my take because my take doesn't mean anything. I don't know enough about the NBA anymore, kid.
Well, let me give you. Let me throw this out there. So Trae Young was traded to the Wizards, and this goes back to January. So we had an early start.
Now he was like the point guard at Atlanta, right?
Yeah, pretty good. Kind of, I think he stalled a little bit in his development, but still a guy that's a number one on a team, right?
But he wasn't the one that was in trouble, right? Like John Morant was the one that was with the guns and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and they tried everything in their power to trade him, and I don't think anybody wanted to touch that one.
Yeah, hell no. But Trae Young is a relatively decent human being, is what we're saying, right?
Yep. Yeah, and he got traded for CJ McCollum, so like there's a little local flavor to that. James Harden came out at the last minute and kind of demanded a trade. So he got sent over to Cleveland Cavaliers, which makes the Cavs a lot better. But they kind of traded all-stars. Darius Garland, he heads over to the Clippers. So that's kind of a big name.
And I read, and I did read a quick article on The Athletic while I was having my lunch that I guess Garland's an injury problem and has only played like 22, 25 games this year. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that's about right. Jonathan Kuminga was traded from Golden State to Atlanta, and Kristaps Porzingis goes to Golden State, which there was a lot of drama going on in Golden State with Kuminga, a lot of off-the-court stuff. So that was a good move. And, Golden State gets better with Porzingis. Like, that guy's shown he can still put up 30-point games.
I don't know if they got better. They might have got better in the locker room, but that Kuminga can play too. So maybe that was just, sometimes just a fresh look for everybody sometimes is a good thing. So I would probably grade that trade, even. I don't know if anybody got over on somebody on that one.
Yeah, and then the last one, Anthony Davis got traded to the Washington Wizards. So the Mavericks have essentially got a whole bunch of first-round picks, dumped a bunch of salary, and are in a position to go full rebuild around Cooper Flag. The Mavericks have done a really good job in the last 2 years rebuilding that roster.
I would just like to point out that magically Doncic gets traded, the Mavs happen to get the first pick. 10 years before that, like LeBron got traded and whoever traded him got the first pick. Like, don't tell me the NBA isn't rigged.
Plus, the Dallas franchise got the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft too. So, like, come on, there's just no way that happens by chance.
Hey there, I'm Chad with Jackson Painting and Remodel, and if you're looking to give your home a fresh new look, you've come to the right place. Whether you need a bold new color for your living room or a fresh coat to brighten up your home's exterior, my team and I have got you covered. We specialize in both indoor and outdoor painting, using only the best materials to make sure your space looks amazing and stands the test of time. If you're ready to transform your home, visit jacksonpainting.com. I'd love to come by, chat about your ideas, and give you a free estimate. At Jackson Painting and Remodel, we don't just paint, we make your vision a reality. Again, visit jacksonpainting.com or call 503-620-2600.
All right, Super Bowl 60 is officially upon us. Before we talk about the game, I got to say, is there anything better than seeing the Seahawks logo, Seahawks images all over Levi Stadium down in San Francisco?
Right. I got to tell you, I was at the mall here in Scottsdale getting some lunch and some groceries just an hour or so ago, and there was a number of 12s walking around the mall, which was even better to see down here.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you've been seeing definitely a lot more Seahawk gear out and around the Portland area.
Well, let's be honest, there's a lot of front runners in the world, and it's easy to jump on the bandwagon, unlike us true fans that are around all the time. But yes, great to see, and it's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so before we get into specifics of the game, so the Seahawks are a 4.5 spread. They've pretty much been sitting at this ever since the first line came out after the championship weekend. Do you think that's a precursor to good or bad things that we have such a big spread? Like, what are your thoughts on this, on how the spread plays out? Because there's a little bit of history on kind of both sides of this, showing that the underdogs have been doing really well against the spread. So since 2004, underdogs are 15-7 against the spread. The stats like that make you hesitate a little bit?
Nope.
No, not at all?
No. Well, and 4.5 is not. I mean, look, typically in the Super Bowl, you're probably looking at a 2.5 point line, right? Like a field goal one way or the other based upon an injury, maybe location in some cases.
Yep.
If one team has to travel a long way, another team doesn't. I wouldn't mind betting that there's some. I mean, look, New England's got to come from Boston. Seattle basically just runs down the hill. I mean, it's not even. So maybe that's a part of it too. But do you want to just talk about the football side of things?
No, because I got another question.
Okay.
So strength of schedule, another thing a lot of people are talking about. So Seattle had the 4th hardest schedule this season, and the Patriots had the easiest schedule.
Yep.
Do you think that comes into play as to who's going to win this game?
Oh, I think it's absolutely. I mean, you think about the run that New England had. Obviously, they get an easy schedule because they weren't, a playoff team. They got to play. They basically got a freebie in the AFC Championship game and nearly lost it.
Yes.
I said this 2 weeks ago, and I was right until my buddy Rick Woolen screwed it for me. I think Seattle rolls, man. I think this could be 2013 all over again. I really do.
I would not be surprised one bit if that happened. I mean, it feels like we are hands down across the entire board the better football team. Running the football, throwing the football, defensively, special teams. I kind of feel like we're the better team in all aspects of the game. And the only thing that I'm a little worried about is it is only Mike McDonald's second year in charge. Vrabel's been around. He was the head coach in Tennessee for a while. He's got a little bit more experience, so maybe that plays a factor. But, man, if these guys just go out on the field and do what they're supposed to, this game should be pretty easily in the Seahawks' hands.
Yes.
Ready to make big gains this winter? Portland Baseball Club's Sunday camps are back and better than ever. Start your morning with a 90-minute hitting camp, then stay for a 90 minutes of pitching and fielding to round out your game. Every Sunday through March for just $60 per camp. Work with top PBC coaches, sharpen your mechanics, and train like the pros right here in Portland. Spots fill fast, so grab yours now at portlandbaseballclub.com. That's portlandbaseballclub.com, where Portland's best ball players train.
Well, okay. I think we should probably break down a little bit more on, what's actually going on. We've got, I think there's a lot of story lines. Is Drake May ready? Why does everybody hate Sam Darnold so much? Yeah, those are the things that I think those are good questions to answer. But
well, okay, so let's talk about the injuries. Drake May has a mysterious shoulder injury that popped up. Right. Nobody's really talking about it, but the Patriots are kind of a pass-heavy offense, so. And then he's got to be able to run the football. So is there going to be some sort of lingering issue there with his shoulder that keeps him from playing at his peak? But at the same time, you can say the same thing with Darnold, who had that oblique injury. So, that kind of knocked him out a little bit. I assume they're both going to be healthy and pretty much 100%. And then you also saw our star rookie,
Umanori.
Yeah, tweaked his ankle, and there's been some video popping up of him kind of limping around. I mean, it said it was a low ankle sprain, not a high, so that's a good sign. But that's a big piece of our defense right there. So, what do you think about the injuries? You think these are being kind of blown out of proportion because it just gives more things for people to talk about? I mean, on a normal week, everyone's kind of getting banged up, right? You don't really talk about it, but since there's only one game, it's all anybody wants to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that it's been such a slow news cycle with this whole Super Bowl. And I don't know if that's, New England is, I think there's a lot of people that figure that New England is, I'm not going to say undeserving, but let's say very fortunate to be in the Super Bowl, I think is a polite way to put that. So I don't know what that's hurt ratings or whatever, but it seems to be a little underwhelming on the national sphere. And someone wrote an article today that there's no star power in this Super Bowl. There's future star power, but not current star power, which I thought was a little bit of a shun to like a JSN or even like Sam Darnold has won more football games than any quarterback in the last 2 years in the league.
Yeah.
Why aren't they talking about him as a superstar? He is.
Well, and let's not forget that Drake May is going to be the MVP runner-up this year.
Yeah, so it's just like I said, it's a little bit weird. I feel like the national media hasn't hyped this one, and maybe that's just because there isn't. You would think though that New England's been a household name forever, but maybe everyone's just got so. Rams, Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo. I don't know. Seems weird to me, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's just the storyline of this game was played years ago, and Seahawks decided to throw the football on the 1 yard line. Like, you kind of thought that was going to be the big talking point, and everyone was going to kind of get into the game because of the rematch aspect, but I mean,
Right.
there's quite a few storylines. I mean, Sam Darnold, like you said, 2 straight seasons of 14 regular season wins, never been done before. I mean, that's pretty impressive stuff. It doesn't happen. Drake May, second season MVP candidate, taking over, going from worst to first. That's a big deal. 2 head coaches that Vrabel in his first season in New England goes worst to first, takes a team to the Super Bowl. Mike McDonald, second year, supposed to kind of be a slow rebuild, and we go from 10-7, just missing the playoffs, to being the best team in the NFC and hopefully winning a Super Bowl. Like, I mean, there's a lot of different stories. JSN coming out of his shell and becoming the number 1 wide receiver in football. Like, there's just a lot of things that I think, like you said, are getting glossed over because, I don't know, maybe this just isn't the matchup everybody wanted to see, and there hasn't really been any bulletin board material. There hasn't been any quotes. The players aren't talking trash. The coaches are not really talking trash. Vrabel had a viral quote, but outside of that, like, it's just kind of been one of those, like, ho-hum, it's just another game. All right, so let's make a prediction. So there's a lot of betting lines out there. There's, all the DraftKings and everything else going on. What do you think a final score looks like?
I think Seattle wins this dirty 28-10.
That's about where I was looking too. I think it's a 2-possession game. I was thinking more in the 21-10 type range, but I think that they find a way to just kind of take control, get ahead early, and I think if the Patriots have to sit back and try to throw the ball the entire game, that plays right into our secondary.
Well, the reality is we get more pressure on the quarterback than I think everybody except 2 teams, and we only do it with a 4-man rush. We don't blitz. No, and our secondary is so good, we don't have to blitz. Yeah, so if they get into a situation where they're in obvious passing downs, and we get to start sending even Worry or Witherspoon or one of the linebackers on a blitz, I'm feeling sorry for Drake May already. Yeah, absolutely. And because that's just going to flat hurt. Yes, and you got to imagine there's going to be some badly thrown footballs in there and some interceptions, and that's what we really feed off of. So yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into some other predictions. So who's your MVP? I don't know. I mean, it's easy to go Sam Darnold if he throws for 3 touchdowns. I want to say Kenneth Walker, because I think he's going to have 100-plus yards and probably a couple of nuggets himself. Does even Worry go and do something crazy on defense? I don't know. Does JSN go 10 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns? I mean, it could happen. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, that's definitely on the dance card. I mean, that could happen. Yeah. I'm going Kenneth Walker. I think that he's going to put up. He's going to go on the same page on that one. I think it's going to be 100-plus yards. I think he's going to get, probably 2 touchdowns. And I also think that since Charbonnet went out with an injury, he's been a lot more involved in the pass game, that screen game. So I could see that being a little bit more, and maybe he knocks out, 3, 4, 5 catches, puts in another 50, 60 yards on the receiving end of things. So I'm going with Kenneth Walker as the MVP. Well, that's exactly right, because Chardonnay was the 3rd down back, and now Walker's getting those touches, and you're right, he's getting those screen passes. He's that's kind of why I had him on my dance card too. So yep, you hit the nail on the head. All right, opening coin toss: heads or tails? Tails never fails. Tails never fails. Color of the Gatorade poured on Mike McDonald after the game. Let's go with good old-fashioned orange. Okay. So I'm going clear. I think it's going to be water. Really? Yeah, I'm going to go a totally different direction. Because I would go orange. Purple's out there too. Purple's not a bad option. But I think it's going to be just like water. I think it's going to be something clear. And, aren't you, if you're a player, aren't you maybe kind of hedging your bet here? Well, if we win, I'm going to go grab the most obscure color I can get. Nobody's thinking it's going to be clear. Nobody thinks it's going to be water because it's the Gatorade. You got to pour the Gatorade on the guy. And then you pour the white one and everyone's like, oh, it's white. I think they're just going to grab the nearest bucket when the time comes. I think you put way more thought into this than anybody.
All right, my last little prop bet question. Do you think there will be a passing touchdown by a non-quarterback in this game?
All right, so for Seattle, who could it be? Bonner played quarterback in high school, the tight end.
Yeah.
So that is probably Seattle's only option. I don't know. Can Cooper Kupp throw it?
There was a play earlier in the year, I believe, that he threw a pass. Might have been for a touchdown. I don't remember completely, but I would bet on Cooper Kupp throwing a pass.
Yeah, or can Walker throw one, and then for New England, I don't know well enough. I don't know the makeup of their roster that well to be able to make that call.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It could happen. I mean, it can't happen anymore. But the onside kick to start the third quarter, or those types of things. Usually something comes up in these games.
Yeah, it's always some little special trick play, and usually it's the team that's ahead. So hopefully the Seahawks will get a little of a lead and do a little razzle-dazzle with a trick play at some point.
Yes, I do believe there will be a razzle-dazzle from somebody at some point trying to, steal one.
Yeah.
All right, here's something I wanted to bring up because I think it's very valid in today's NFL. And you're going to get two teams on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Mike McDonald kicks the field goal every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Mike Vrabel hasn't seen a 4th and short he hasn't liked in his life. Which one wins this weekend?
It's the Super Bowl. You got to take the points.
Well, we take the points all the time. Vrabel doesn't. Could it cost him the Super Bowl?
I don't think it's going to – we both think it's going to be a 2-possession game, so I don't think it's going to cost him the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of a lot of these metrics in the NFL. Like, you're down by 14 in the fourth quarter. They tell you to go for 2. Like, if I fail, I still have to get another 2-point. I can just kick my field goal, and then I can get it. So some of these analytics I don't necessarily agree with. Personally, if I'm on my own 40 or on their side of the field and it's like 4th and 1, I'm probably going for it. I think I can gain 1 yard, tush push, snow plow. What does Seattle call it?
The Bonner bump or something? I don't know.
Barnyard brawl. I don't remember what it is, but I feel like I can get 1 yard right there. And I keep that drive going, and it's kind of like Woolen's penalty. You get that big conversion, and it's just it's a big momentum swing for the offensive team, and it's just a gut punch for the defensive team.
I go and kick or punt it and trust my defense when you've got the best defense in football. And as I've said many, many times, it's really hard to go 80 yards consistently in the National Football League.
Yeah, and you have 2 of the better defenses in the NFL as well. So, this could very well, we're sitting here saying it's going to be, well, the over-under is at 45.5. I mean, this could easily be a low-scoring football game.
Yeah, so the only reason that I'm not, jumping up and down saying that's the easiest money in football is that sometimes when you've got the defense is so good like we've got in this situation, that there could be enough turnovers and points off of turnovers to where the under doesn't hit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like the defense is so good that they might score points off the defense, which screws your under.
Yeah, or they get that 4th and 1 stop on the 40-yard line, and now all of a sudden you're in field goal territory already.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's kind of that was kind of where I was going with that. So time will tell if that's right or not, but that was at least a little bit of my thinking. Like, oh man, they could just go and the defense could score some points too here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, last thing before we get off here. Super Bowl Sunday. It's a big cooking day. What are your plans on the Traeger? What do you got going?
Brisket.
Brisket?
Kid wanted brisket.
Okay. A big brisket too, right?
Brisket.
How many pounds you cooking?
Well, there's been a still change of plans with how many people are arriving, so I'm going to pivot to we're going to do some wings and a small brisket, so we can kind of have a bit of everything.
Nice. Yeah, here it is
So,
Thursday.
rel-
I still haven't figured out what I'm going to make for the Super Bowl. It's just going to be me and Hillary. It's not a large gathering. Somebody's got to really focus in on the game. So I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to make, but
well, I'm
weather's
guessing
looking
it's going
good.
to be chicken or pork.
It'll be chicken or pork. It could be salmon. You never know. Could be
You can't do
shrimp.
salmon you can't do that for the Seahawks, for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
I know it's got to be some meat. Maybe a good pulled pork mac and cheese. That seems like a good mid-February rainy Super Bowl day type of a meal.
Yeah, something that sticks to the stomach, as they used to say.
Absolutely. You just got to make sure you don't fall asleep, around halftime. Although I might be okay falling asleep in the halftime show this year. I'm not too interested in Bad Bunny. So,
No, I'm not going to be watching Bad Bunny. I'm going to go watch Kid Rock.
well, enjoy your Super Bowl party. Enjoy your food. Let's see if the Seahawks can bring home our second Super Bowl title. And we'll get back together next week and talk about a full recap of the Super Bowl. And then guess what happens after the Super Bowl?
Oregon State baseball?
It's baseball season. Spring training, Oregon State, youth baseball. It's baseball season. So let's get through these next couple days. Go Hawks, and let's bring home another Super Bowl.
Go Hawks.
Thanks for listening to Lineups and Lures. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate, like, and share the podcast. It helps us reach more fans, more anglers, and more stories worth telling. We'll see you next time, whether it's out on the field or out on the water.